Alright everyone, Gab is still down, of course, depriving some 17,000 followers of mine on the platform from getting proper video notifications if they mainly choose to get them there. Thank you to all the people on the far left. Very, very helpful. I'm sure it contributes greatly to public discourse for videos that are essentially mocking the political establishment. That's Nazi stuff, I guess, these days, so thank you for removing that horrible, hate-filled content. One reason, though, I wanted to weigh in on why they're being attacked, as opposed to, why aren't they going after mines? There are people that, post edgy stuff there, or BitChute. Steemit, which would be very difficult to take them down due to their site structure. By the way, these sites need to rely more on all the blockchains and crypto and all this wonderful stuff. One reason why Gab specifically has been targeted first for mass depersoning is specifically because the main competitor of Gab as a site structurally, what does Gab resemble? It's Twitter. Which one of the big tech firms is collapsing right now? Twitter. Twitter's about to potentially commit site-wide suicide by removing the like function. They'll probably see a mass exodus of users. How very convenient that their only main competitor happens to be down at the time. And smeared by the media so that millions of people just think of them as that repository of Nazis that I've never been to, but I know everything about it. Look, this was a common feature of the last mini moral panic with Harry Potter. People who had never even read the fucking book were like, oh, it's evil because X, Y, and Z. You never even read it. You don't know anything about it. Pokemon is evil. Do you know anything about it? Do you know what Pikachu looks like? No? Then fucking stop weighing in on it. Most of the people pretending to be experts on all the hate on Gab never been to the site. Never interacted with anyone on the site. If anything, they saw a screenshot of somebody else's cherry-pick post posted on some left-wing forum or something, and they think that's the end-all be-all. Simply one screenshot and a claim that the site is run by the far right, and they just gobble it up because they're low info. People like that vote. That's a big problem in the world today. Not exactly the Enlightenment era value of knowing what the fuck you're doing and minding your own fucking goddamn business. But they're being attacked because Twitter is the most weak, the most vulnerable. The organized corporate attack, which we've seen in the corporate media smearing Gab, is separate from sort of the semi-grassroots side. What happens is you get a dozen big media outlets to smear a website. And then you end up with a grassroots style attack because their brain dead fans will go and they'll DDoS, they'll organize to try to email the advertisers, they'll contact the registrar, and they do this. The Silicon Valley corporations have given them a reason to do this. They've essentially told them, yeah, by the way, if you cry loud enough, you get the candy. If you stomp your feet and get red in the face and you act self-righteous and fragile and ramble about how triggered you are, we will eventually give in to your stupidity, so you should keep doing it. This is basically what Silicon Valley has signaled to the self-righteous, pompous, jackass moralists of the entire world. So then Gab gets deplatformed. I wonder why possibly it's total coincidence that it was Gab and not any of the other sites that this person had an account on. Oh, they have a Facebook page? Not a mention of it. Nobody cares. Oh, they probably have a YouTube channel. Nobody cares. They might very well have had a Minds account. Maybe it's still up. Nobody cares about it because Minds' main competitor isn't systemically collapsing and planning to commit possible, cyber suicide at the moment. Twitter is. Twitter is about to screw with its own basic functionality to offer less features to people and has lost 9 million users last quarter. Now, they claim that's a bot purge. I call bullshit. I think a lot of that's organic movement. Because there's a different report quite a bit before that. Didn't they report that they had lost some 2 or 3 million actual users? And then they keep kicking people off. Look, when you kick somebody off who has a 6-7 figure audience, yeah, some of those people that are primarily on that platform with the sole intent to get notified of a video upload, shit posting on 1 or 2 accounts, and then those accounts are gone, they might very well leave. They get bored. They might still have an account there. It's no longer an active account. There's nothing to do on the platform other than maybe, shitpost until they themselves get banned. And then you've got the situation where Twitter is a de facto public utility as well. They shouldn't be allowed to do this sort of thing at all. Functionality, remove the like function, okay, it's within your right to do. It's not preventing people, basically speaking, from interacting with or spreading content. Insofar, though, as government services use Twitter to give out alerts and things, no, you shouldn't be able to be banned from Twitter at all. Twitter should have to choose. Do you want to stop offering stuff like NOAA alerts, USGS, police, updates, locally or on a regional scale? Either kick all those services off and make it clear that you're 100% a privatized entity, or you need to start respecting the fact that people have a right to delve into that material. It's a public utility in the most literal sense. It's a little bit different from the kind of stuff you get on maybe a YouTube or something. I don't like USGS. Does it supply like quake alerts on YouTube? Oh yeah, 5 minutes later we tell you there's a quake because, it takes time to upload. No, they don't do that. YouTube, by the way, is in a different class from these other sites, but Gab, they're jokingly stated, but I think very much real. Business strategy is to exist and let Twitter do stupid shit. Alienate its users, and then Gab grows. It's working. The business strategy fundamentally has worked. Over the course of a week, they absorbed 50,000 new users just from Brazil because they had been banned off of Twitter for being, too pro-Bolsonaro or something. Brazilians, yes, a very large repository of white supremacy, of National Socialism. No, it's not. What about all the Moroccan users? It's something like, what'd they say, 8 to 10,000 people because of a crackdown on Twitter within their country and censorship therein? And they said, fuck it, if Twitter's going to allow our government to filter things, we'll just use a different site. This is what has happened. Alt tech is growing in part. This happened before with Adpocalypse and VidMe. Now, VidMe was never alt tech. VidMe grew rapidly over the course of a few months because the adpocalypse made it harder for people to make money on YouTube as a platform or Google services in general. People, therefore, they said, hey, I saw it first, I think Computing Forever had made a video, and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I'll try it out. And then quickly became one of their top 10 users until being supplanted by a bunch of German gaming channels. Now, they went belly up. Unlike alt tech now, the older wave of technically alternatives to, not alt tech, but alternatives to existing services, were basically just, hey, we are the same exact thing, only we're not algorithmically manipulated. We've got a more interactive label because we're not already a huge tech firm. That's what VidMe represented. Or some of the early Facebook alternatives. I can remember years and years ago, they used to, occasionally spam across Facebook about, oh, join this new social network. It's better than Facebook because of reasons. It's like nobody really joined them. But now you have Minds, and it's actually innovated. There's actually a point to why a person would at least want to establish a separate identity there because it's more functional, it has more features in many ways. That's the whole point. Gab offers that too. Look, Twitter introduced, 240 character tweets or something. Gab had that for many months before Twitter had it. And then Gab decided to bump it up to 1,000 characters, I think, which is kind of like, who cares? The live streaming, they've branched out into that, among other things, and they're less censored. The idea is, yes, people who have a tendency to get censored on big tech sites are naturally going to be at higher concentrations on alt tech sites. The answer, of course, is, if you have a problem with that, go to those alt tech sites and try to convert them. Have a fucking debate. That's used to be in vogue on the internet. People used to do that a lot. It was enjoyable. Still is to some of us, those of us who aren't complete fucking sellouts. Gab is growing because Twitter sucks. In all honesty, Twitter fucking sucks. Its site is becoming less functional. It's alienating its users. It's barely solvent. It has problems with retaining, user base, bot problems. They've gotten reamed by Congress multiple times, although they keep softballing them. They held back as much as they could, and it still became a problem for Twitter. No, Twitter is the weakest link, and I said that years ago, that Facebook and YouTube and these other sites will definitely outlast Twitter. In YouTube's case, I don't expect it to go anywhere. I think they're making a mistake with rolling out, all the premium offerings and Premiere and stuff. It's not really necessary. Okay, you made more money. You also, again, you alienated smaller users that could have made their own grassroots content that you don't have to pay anything for in order for it to be made and promulgated. Now, I think it's a marketing flaw in essence. Now, with Twitter, pretty much everything they've done lately is a flaw. They waffled on deplatforming InfoWars. They're waffling on deplatforming Gab, although I guarantee they want to kick Gab off of Twitter. The problem is it's going to be conspicuous because Gab is literally Twitter 2.0 minus the censorship. So it's going to look a little conspicuous if they kick them off suddenly. They go to great lengths to not break any laws, by the way. Gab has its site statement up right now. I think it's highly effective. I would expect them to continue growing, and people are like, oh, well, ding dong, the witch is dead, haha, all these people, the authoritarian leftists that think it's a Nazi site, it's not gone anywhere. They're migrating their material. They'll be back, and more powerful, because now you've given them free publicity and driven them to registrars and cloud services that will actually respect free speech. Except now it's not fully a U.S. firm anymore. They're looking overseas. The U.S. has become such a hotbed of craptivism, of anti-free speech mobilization by pro-corporate forces that are essentially nothing more than pawns of Silicon Valley and the corporate media. The little people who are so brainwashed that they're literally acting for free on behalf of multi-billion-dollar multinational corporate entities. Yeah, that's become so prevalent. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna, host in Iceland or Switzerland or something. Now, places that have more respect, ironically, at this point, for free expression in the internet sense. It's really, really sad. The U.S. should be on the forefront of expanding free speech online. We should be on the forefront of encouraging private individuals to stick it to the tyrants of the world. And the U.S. government should say, yeah, we love it when U.S. citizens go online and debate people that are citizens in countries that are run by tin-horn dictators. Yeah, we love it when you shitpost memes about Maduro and stuff. We're hoping that it cripples their regimes. We love it. We're going to keep the internet as open as long as possible. It's what should be happening. Be a better world. That's about all. Peace out.